All right. Hello, everyone. I have been looking forward to my next interview for quite some time now. This is Jennifer Mackey Mary. She is a wardrobe stylist who gives real life advice to real life women. Her business, Everyday Style, is on a mission to inspire women to love the way they look and to give them the tools to make style easy. She's also the host of the top 25 ranked podcast, The Everyday Style School, and she is passionate about raising confident daughters, female entrepreneurship, and getting every woman into a better bra. I love that. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited for our conversation today.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I'd like to start. I think you haven't always had a really, should we say, positive relationship with clothing and your wardrobe. Can you talk a little bit about what that was like for you as a younger woman and how you came to be the prominent stylist that you are now?
Yeah. So me becoming a stylist, like that was never my life dream. I was never like the little girl saying, I'm going to be a fashion designer. I want to work in fashion. That was never my thing. Growing up, I had a really difficult body to dress, and I didn't understand why clothes didn't work for me the same way they worked for my friends, right? Like they would buy these cute pants and I would buy the same pants, and they were like tight in the waist and big in the legs. And, like nothing ever looked right on me. And I always thought that it was me, that it was my body. And if I changed my body, the clothes would work differently, right? Like if I lost weight, if I worked out more, whatever, if I just bought bigger clothes. And nothing worked. And I always loved clothes. I always look at clothes as like an expression of your personality, of who you are. Before we hit record, you were saying, I said, I love your top. And you said, oh, I love sparkly things. Like that was kind of my love affair with clothes. Like I loved what I loved, but it didn't always love me back. And my early career was spent in corporate training, mainly for restaurant companies. And I would train staff, I would train managers, I would open new locations. And there came a point where I was just kind of tired of being on the road all the time and being away for like 6 weeks to 3 months. And I traded food for fashion. I went to work for Chico's, opening new locations for them. And the first day of my job, they taught everyone the 4 basic body types. And in that moment, what I discovered was, oh, I'm not weird. I'm not malformed. I'm not, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just an apple, right? It's not the most common body shape, especially for younger women, but it's a body shape. It's legitimate. It's not me. It's the pants. And like this light bulb went off, and I kind of have now made my life mission to teach women, it's not you, it's the pants. We can fix the pants. You don't need to fix you. Fix the pants. That is so much easier, easier. So that's kind of, then my love affair with clothes was kind of on. And as a stylist, I have a bit different relationship with clothes, I think, than a lot of women do. I don't love clothes. I am not label obsessed. My wardrobe is fairly small. I love what clothes do for women. That is what lights me up. That is what keeps me going. That is what has grown this business over the last 10 years, is that you can dress yourself into a better day. You can dress yourself into a better mood. You can dress yourself into looking better, right? Like going to the gym, you got to do it every day for like weeks and weeks to see a difference. Girl, I can take you to the mall. We can do that in an hour. I love how quickly you can turn things around with clothes. It's amazing.
Well, I know you're speaking the language of many women when you talk about the struggles you had to find the clothes for your body type. And I particularly love the message that it's not you, you're just, the clothes you're choosing are not the right ones for your body shape. That's so key. And I want to get into some specifics around that, but I'm just curious, first of all, how do you, as a professional, how do you stay current with fashion trends? Because you produce what you call a capsule wardrobe guide. I want to ask about that too a little bit later on. So how do you stay on top of industry trends?
I'm just constantly looking at things. I mean, that's really all it is. I always see like, okay, what's at the shows? What are they talking about? But, my business is around real life advice for real life women. So, if like chainmail bras are a trend on the runways. Like, I don't see my people wearing that, you know? Like, I don't remember the last time I went to the grocery store in a sheer top with my breast showing. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't feel like we're going to do that. So
Yeah.
I interpret the trends from where my women shop. Right. So I'm looking at Ann Taylor and Loft and Banana Republic and Old Navy and Target, like real life women kind of stores, right? Like,
Yeah.
my women, and there are women out there who are spending $3,000 on a dress. That's not my women. So I interpret trends for my women who are spending, like $150 on a dress feels like a bit of a stretch. Because I find that there are a lot more of those women out there. I always say there are a whole lot more women who are Gap than Gucci. So we're kind of about the Gap trends. And frankly, it's looking at and making the connection, like, okay, I'll go and I'll look at the new arrivals on, say, Gap. And then I'll look at the new arrivals on Talbot. Oh, look at that. They're using a lot of the same colors. Okay, let's see if that kind of plays out. Oh, I'm seeing this print. I'm seeing this shoulder, that kind of thing. So I'm just looking for elements from store to store to store of what's a widely available thing.
That makes so much sense. And it's so practical. And, you've said that you provide everyday advice for everyday women. And that's exactly what we need. So can you talk a little bit about the power of style? And as you've distinguished by style, we're not talking about just high ticket items, but just feeling stylish. And does your work include finding the right style for each woman? Because there are different style types, aren't there?
Oh, there absolutely are. So when I was a one-on-one stylist, we did a lot more of that, right? Because I was working individually with one person. Now that we have products and classes that are bought by women on 6 continents. We still don't have anyone in Antarctica, but maybe this year. It's a little bit more broad, right? But I do rely on my corporate training experience a lot. I can teach people anything. That's, if I have a superpower, it's that I can teach people anything. So I can teach a woman, even if I've never met her, how to find her style, how to find her body shape accurately, how to dress that body shape, how to use things like line, proportion, all of those things to create her personal best, right? One thing that drives me nuts in this whole style thing is like your must-have list. Says who? I don't have a black suit. You know why? I don't wear black. It's not flattering on me. And I don't know where I would wear a suit. I don't have a suit kind of life anymore. Very few people do. Yeah. But yet that thing is still a good black turtleneck. I don't wear turtlenecks. I don't wear black. So I hate these really confining kind of parameters. And instead, what I want to teach people is how to find the best for them, how to find clothes that light them up, how to, look at the trends, interpret like this one's good for me, this one's not good for me. So I'm going to take what works for me through an educated lens and go that direction with it. So, unfortunately, we're not able to tailor everything for everyone, but we can teach you how to tailor it for yourself. And, it's kind of that give a man a fish thing. We teach you to fish. We teach you to fish for your style.
Yeah. So, what happens if a woman doesn't feel stylish in her wardrobe? And what's the result of that? What are the consequences of that? Consequences may be a bit harsh, but what
no, I think consequence is accurate. I think, and I think I'm going to just take a little direction and we're going to come back to that question. We tend to think that thinking about style is frivolous. So we sort of like water down our language around it. Like, what are the consequences of not liking your wardrobe? Well, maybe that's too harsh a word. No, that's an absolutely accurate word. This stuff is important. It's important because it speaks to the way we feel about ourselves. And somewhere along the line, we convince ourselves that isn't important. But I would encourage everyone to think back to that day where you felt really good about yourself. And I guarantee you walked around with your head up a little bit higher. You looked for places to go. It wasn't like, oh, I have to go to the grocery store. You're like, okay, I'll go to this grocery store. Maybe I'll go to that one too. You engage with in life. You engage with more people. And that's what happens. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
And it's, of course, a spam call. I am so sorry. You engage with life a little bit more. You're open to experiences. And when you don't feel that way, you pull away from life. The saddest things I can share are about women who didn't have the right clothes to go places, so they didn't go.
Yeah.
What? That's crazy pants. That is absolutely crazy. I had a client who did not go to her best friend's wedding because she didn't have something to wear and she was feeling bad about herself. So she didn't want to face a fitting room. Hopefully that friend has one wedding. I mean, that's kind of the goal. Doesn't always happen, but hopefully that's a one-time deal. And you missed it. You missed it. Is that a consequence? Yeah. Is that frivolous? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I see that in big ways, and I see it in small ways too. You're the one always taking the pictures rather than getting in them. You're the one sitting on a beach chair while everybody else is in the water. You're the one not enjoying your night out with your friends quite as much because you feel a little frumpy. Those are real life consequences, and they matter. There's a quote by former Vogue editor Diana Vreeland, and she said, "It's not about the dress. It's about the life you live in the dress." Yes, that right there. And what we try to do, and what we've really made it like our life's work with Everyday Style to do, is help women just buy the dress for the life they want to live. Like, it really is that easy. And I'll share a little personal story with you. I have a sister. She also has a company. Her company does something, I'm not going to say more important, but definitely more, what's the word we want to use? Professional, you know what I mean? More, I don't know what the word is, but you guys all know what I'm talking about. It's just different. But she's always, in the early years, she was always kind of like, "Oh, are you still doing that clothes thing? Are you?" Yeah. And there was always a little bit like, "Oh, that's frivolous. I'm glad you, like pat me on the head." And then she had signed up to go to this conference, and she paid, it was like a 5-figure conference that she paid to go to. And she's walking around the mall. She had no clothes. She was postpartum, had gained weight, the whole thing. And she said, "I don't want to go. Can you help me?" And I was like, oh, look who's the important person now, right? But really, I don't want to go. You just paid big money for this thing. This is the thing that you are hoping will help be a catalyst for your business to reach the next level. And you don't want to go because you don't have pants. Pants are so figure outable. And we convince ourselves, and I think this is one of the big problems. We convince ourselves that we should have this knowledge, that as women, we were born to shop and get dressed and do all these things, so that somehow there's something wrong with us if we're not good at that, right? It is not genetic. It's not. There's nothing in your DNA as a woman that says, "Oh, you have the shopping gene. You have the style gene." This is hard stuff. It's hard. But when we make it easy and frivolous, we don't believe it's worth investing in the solution. But when you solve that, so many things get better. So many things. Your relationship, your confidence, your sense of self, all of it improves when you simply like the way you look. And that it really can start with better pants.
It's so true. And my goodness, you said so much that's just so rich in that. I know there'll be a lot of women in the audience that'll feel a little bit intimidated about style and about fashion. And as you say, they don't know inherently perhaps what's best for themselves, and they're unsure where to turn. So what would be a starting point? So when you're working with a client and she just says, "I just don't know, I don't even know where to begin," do you start with a kind of mindset, or do you start with what do you have right now? What do you need? I mean, where do you begin with a client?
Depends on how we're working with them. But the first thing that I would recommend for everyone is to figure out how you want to look. Begin with the end in mind, right? That's a Stephen Covey, 7 Habits. Begin with the end in mind. What most women do is they don't have this sort of like end goal of how do I want to look? What do I want my wardrobe to be? What do I want my style to be? So we just like buy stuff. And then we don't have anything that adds up to anything. and we get frustrated. We go, it's me. I don't know how to shop. Well, no, I always liken it to, if I told you, if I put you in front of a table that had every art supply in the whole wide world and a variety of canvases and everything you can imagine, I say, okay, make art. And you go, with what? Yeah, whatever you want, just make smart. And you make smart and you kind of like it. It's not quite what you thought it might be. But then I said, oh, by the way, that's supposed to hang in your master bedroom. You would go, well, wait a minute. If I had known that, I would have used different materials. I would have had a color scheme. I would have had I would have done this differently. That is exactly how we build our wardrobes versus how we should build our wardrobes. What do you want it to be? Do you want your wardrobe to be eclectic and colorful and bold? Or do you want it to be simple and feminine and classic? Those two things are going to end up very, very different. So the first thing we do is figure out, how do you want to look? Start there. And then from there, I recommend that people figure out their personal bests. What is best on your body? What are your best colors? Because we're starting to narrow it down, right? That's all we're doing, is narrowing it down. Then when you walk into a store or a mall or you go online, you're not overwhelmed by all the things. All the things is really difficult. Yeah, but when you know, I am looking for navy tops with a boat neck, 3/4 length sleeve, that's a whole lot easier. Actually, that's a Google search term. Yeah. You can start hunting rather than gathering. And what you end up with is a wardrobe that looks the way you want it to look, that makes you feel the way you want to feel. That's a way easier process. And then after you know your personal best, then I encourage people to tackle that closet. And we all know some of the women watching are like, yeah, I have that closet. That closet that represents the you that you used to be 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, when you thought you'd be going back to an office, but guess not, right? Like, all of these things, that woman is still living in there. Yeah. We got to get her out and make room for the woman that you are now, or at least see what the current you has right now. A lot of women convince themselves that they have these huge wardrobes because they have a lot of clothes. They don't. Your wardrobe is not all the things you own. Your wardrobe is all the things you can and do and love to wear. That's it. Mm-hmm. And there is usually a big gap for most women between those two ideas, right? Yeah. Like, I could go to Forever 21. I don't know if you have that one in Canada. And it's for teenagers, and I could buy everything in it. Would I have a lot of clothes? Yep. Would I have a lot to wear? No, I would not. So we have to stop thinking that we have a big wardrobe because we have a lot of clothes, and strip it down to just what you love. If you don't love to wear it, you will never pick that thing. Not even someday. You won't. Just it.
One of the things I've noticed with a few women I know is that it's as if their style got frozen at a time in their life when they felt most vibrant.
Yeah.
And that can be, the hairstyle, everything is so anchored to that period in their lives. And what happens when a woman is dressing for her wrong age, I suppose? So you've talked a little bit about body shapes, that you're an apple and there's pear shape and so on. And that's certainly important, but how much does the fashion era, I suppose, play a role for we women in our middle years?
I am a big believer that women should wear what they love. Right? What they love. But I do want to remind everyone that just because you bought it doesn't mean it's a classic. That's not how it works. Right. And, I work with a lot of, and especially when I was a one-on-one stylist, I worked with a lot of women who were coming out of the baby years, and I would meet them to go shopping or whatever. And I could say, oh, you had your first child in 2008. And they go, how do you know that? That's when women's style stops. Right before they have kids. And like, that was for a lot of women the last chance they had to focus on themselves. And so you stop looking at things. Remember, the way I know what's in style is that I look at things. And so it kind of stops there. I don't believe that there's anything you have to stop wearing because you are a certain age. I really don't. If you feel great in crop tops, you wear the crop top. You should not wear the crop top because you feel pressured to wear a crop top. You should not wear the crop top because you feel pressured not to wear the crop top. Like it should be about you and your personal style. What I will say though, is as we age, we tend to do better with a trend garnish than a trend salad. And let me give you an example. So my daughter is 14. She's like the most wonderful 14-year-old. I'm loving this whole teenage thing. But the other day she had on like baggy mom jeans and a crop top and the little clips in her hair, like everything that is trending right now was on her body all at once. That is a trend salad. And it looked really cute on her because she's 14. As we age, to look current, an easy thing to do is look at it as a trend garnish. So I might be wearing a more classic top, right? Like a regular t-shirt. I'm going to lose the butterfly clips, but I might have the cool shoes, right? I might do the Converse or whatever that is. One thing mixed into your basics is a great way to stay current, stay updated, but not look like you just raided your daughter or your granddaughter's closet, which is how, and I think women as we age are so afraid of looking like we're trying too hard.
Yes.
Right? That we won't do any of it. But that one thing, that one on-trend current item mixed into your great basics is so fantastic. I think it's so fantastic.
So and this would be, you're talking maybe a scarf, you're talking about a vest, you're talking about a belt, a pair of shoes. So just
I'm talking about working in one current trend. So let's talk about some of the things that are trending right now. Puff sleeves are a huge trend. That is something that every woman can wear. Now, you might not be wearing it with the big baggy mom jeans. You might be wearing it with like a more classic tailored pant, right? It could be, I'm trying to think of just off the top, fruit prints. Fruit prints are huge, huge. I saw a pineapple print skirt from Ann Taylor the other day. That with a basic white top and, kind of classic sandals would be fantastic. It's not the same thing as doing an all over crazy fruit print puff sleeves, right? Fruit print with the puff sleeves and the wide leg and the crop top, right? So we pull one element. We just pull one element that's trending. I do a podcast episode every quarter talking about what's trending. And I talk about it from the perspective of women who are in their, I would say mid to late 30s and beyond. So yeah, we talk about crop tops and I say, if you want to wear them, wear them. If you don't, here's what you can do instead, kind of thing, because I don't think we should just stop. I've even noticed this. So I'm going to turn 50 in a few years. And I've noticed that I lose touch with what is new, right? Like I hear of a new iPhone coming out and I'm like, oh, those kids today, I don't need that. I don't need that new technology. And now I'm at the age where I have to ask my children to like, here, just fix it, set up my watch, just do it for me. And I've made a conscious effort not to be that way. In my wardrobe with technology. When we are in the car, I tell my kids, what do you want to listen to? Let's listen to your music. And some of it, I'm like, this is terrible. But I don't want to be that person who assumes that everything good ended at a certain point because I decided it ended at a certain point, right? I don't want to be that. And so you have to make a conscious effort not to do that. You have to say, maybe my eyes aren't used to these newer styles. Okay, that they're not bad. They're not wrong. I'm going to find a way to work one element in.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I think you've touched on something there. Any woman can look fabulous at any age.
Oh.
And I agree with you that a lot of women kind of give up after a point. And maybe that's a temporary phase. They just don't have time. They're busy. They're raising kids. They have a busy career. They don't have as much time as they did when they were younger to think about fashion. It's not a priority so much, but then they get back to a point where maybe the kids are launched and they've got a bit more free time and they reach a point where they just want to do more for themselves.
Yeah.
So updating a wardrobe. And again, as you say, it doesn't have to be a hugely expensive endeavor. It doesn't have to be, you know, acquiring a massive wardrobe, just getting a few pieces that feel great, that make you feel awesome inside, look awesome outside. Now, you've created what you call wardrobe capsules. I love that concept. Can you talk to us a little bit about what they are and how women use them?
Absolutely. So the term capsule wardrobe was really coined in the 1970s at a boutique in London, and it referred to this idea that you have like a core collection of clothes that are constants, and then you rotate in different pieces, like different seasons, different trends, blah, blah, blah. The concept has kind of switched now, and we look at capsule wardrobes as an entire collection for a season, mix and match pieces, right? So I kind of look at it as like wardrobe synergy. So our capsule wardrobes have 39 pieces per season, but that includes tops, bottoms, dresses, shoes, and accessories, like everything you need for summer or fall. And with those 39 pieces, we can create over 200 outfits.
Wow.
Because everything is curated to go together. Everything is like, this pant goes with these 10 tops. This dress can be worn these 12 ways, right? It's really about maximizing functionality and style by working, first of all, within a defined color palette, and then choosing pieces that work together, making sure that the top styles go with the pants. So I was like, there's a lot that goes into making outfits work together. Right. So, but when you create a capsule wardrobe, you're choosing pieces that mix and match. Every woman I ever worked with when I was a one-on-one stylist would say, I want a mix and match wardrobe. That's what this is. Like, you choose this pant, this top, they go together. You choose this cardigan, this top, this skirt, they all go together. Like, everything goes together. And so that's what we do. We do one every single season, and we give people the shopping links. So if you're like, I don't know where to find that pattern short, here you go. Here are 12 of them that we found on the internet in Save, Spend, Petite, Plus. I mean, we try and meet every woman really where she is to make it easy, because creating a capsule, it sounds like a really easy idea, right? Like, you just pick clothes that go together. There's a lot of work that goes into it. So we do all the work for people, and then we show people what to do with their things. Because I know women are like, I love those shorts, but what would I do with them? How would I wear them? Every item in our capsule has a page where we show you, okay, these are the 10 ways to style this dress. These are the 12 things you can do with this top. So you never buy things or you never actually pass on things because you don't know what you would do with them. That's easy, but we give you all of those ideas. And it's a really easy way to have more style with less stuff.
Yeah. So, and I assume when you're talking about 39 pieces, and that's awesome, 39 pieces for the complete wardrobe each season, you can use that. It doesn't mean you have to go out and buy all 39. You can look in your wardrobe and see, what do I have already that would be similar to what is in my capsule for this season? And maybe you already have half or more items that could work.
The way I encourage our subscribers to do it is, the last page that we give you is a shopping list. And I say, okay, you print that page first before you go to that link database. I know everyone's excited for the link database, but you print that page first and you go to your closet and you check off, what do you have? And then you cross off, what are you never going to wear? If there's a blazer in there and you don't go to an office or ever dress up or like blazers, just cross it off. So a lot of capsule wardrobes that are out there are smaller than ours, but that really gives you no room not to like something. I like to give people room to not like things. Not everyone's going to. So then you cross it off, and then you see, what could I reasonably use, right? Okay, I don't have white shorts, but I have white linen pants. Good enough, swap them out. And then you shop last, just to fill in the pieces that you need. And as capsule creators, we are so committed. And it's actually kind of a game with our team. How much can we reuse from season to season and year to year?
I love that.
So if you've already bought that white top, you're going to see it again next summer, maybe, or maybe the next spring. It's really like a game to us. How much can we reuse while still keeping the capsule fresh and current, and making it look completely different every year, reusing a lot of the same pieces. And it's, you know, it's one of the games we play with ourselves, but it's really fun. It's really fun to style what you already own or already have in a brand new way.
And it's such a complete system. So I'm sure many women, when they get the wardrobe capsule and they've had maybe a few seasons of it, they'd get the sense of how it works, and they'd be able to more independently choose things they love.
Yeah.
What would you say for our second act audience here, our lovely women, what would be maybe the number one fashion faux pas that you could offer, something definitely to avoid, or is there anything in your opinion to avoid?
Oh my gosh, there's so much and yet nothing, if that makes sense. I did do a podcast way back in the beginning of my show on style mistakes that age you. That's a great one to go listen to, because a lot of women don't realize what they're doing is adding years. You know, I think the biggest one is not wearing things you love. What? Who are we trying to impress?
Yeah.
If there is one really great thing about getting older, it's that we don't have to care what anybody thinks anymore. You know?
And there's such a difference when you put something on that feels good and looks good. As you said earlier, you carry yourself differently, don't you? And the opposite is true. I mean, every woman on this masterclass can go to her closet, pull out two things, one thing she loves, one thing she doesn't love at all, put each one on, look in the mirror, look at how your body is telling you how you feel about that. And that's what you're conveying to others as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it absolutely is. I remember something that my mom used to say a lot growing up, and she said, oh, as you age, you become invisible. Oh, as you age, you become invisible. And I think that there is some truth to that. You know, she would say, nobody listens to me, you know, the older women at work anymore. Nobody, you know, you go into a store, nobody notices you. I think that that is partly true. And I think that's partly a choice. You know, we start dressing, well, it doesn't matter what I wear. Who cares what I wear? You know, we stop sort of taking up space, right? Take up the space, wear the loud thing, make people notice you.
Yeah.
That is absolutely a choice. I really cut my fashion teeth at Chico's. Chico's is a store for women really in their second act. I mean, it's made for women 55 plus. And so I learned everything I know about styling women from styling women 55 plus. And I can tell you, there's nothing boring. There's nothing drab about these women. We would put them in a fabulous jacket and a couple of bold bracelets, and all of a sudden they're not invisible anymore. They're not invisible. They shine bright. And I got to tell you, I don't think there's anything more stylish than a stylish woman like in her 70s, 80s. I mean, honestly, it gives me goosebumps because they're so dang fabulous.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And I've seen lots of women, as you say, in these upper years, and they're so beautifully turned out, and they're just so confident. They just exude confidence, and there's no way they're invisible. And I don't think they're setting out to say, I'm not going to be invisible. It's just, they can't, you know, you can't help notice someone who is so well put together. And again, it doesn't have to be a huge expense to do that. It's really all about just getting the right pieces for you, for your body type, for your personality, and letting your clothes be an expression of yourself. Maybe taking a bit more of a chance. If you haven't done that, try more things, experiment a bit, and see what difference that makes.
I think one thing that I say a lot is that dressing well doesn't have to mean dressing up. A lot of women go, well, it doesn't matter what I wear because I'm just kind of around the house. So I'll just, you know, schlump around in these old frumpy things because who cares? Well, you can put on cute clothes just as easily as you put on drab clothes, right? I mean, t-shirts all wash the same. So why not pick one in a color that lights you up? Jeans all launder the same. So why not choose a pair that fits you really well and maybe is a little bit interesting? You know, dressing well does not have to mean dressing up. And we have entered a new world in the last few years of not going as many places. I mean, I didn't even know where my handbag was for months. Like, why would I need to? So it's very easy to fall into that trap. But if I could leave a message for your women, it's to dress for the body you have now, but also for the life you have now, but dress well for it. You know, if you live a jeans and t-shirt kind of life, if you live a jeans and sweatpants kind of life, we live in the age of athleisure. There's no reason to have ugly ones. There's no reason. And it doesn't cost anymore. What it takes is a little bit more time to understand your style, to understand your body, to understand your coloring, and then to find those things. You know, it's not as easy as just whipping through Target, pulling 5 gray t-shirts off the table. It requires a little bit more effort, but it doesn't require any more money.
No, and I think, you know, it requires more effort initially, but you save time in not having to go back and find something else, because the thing you got last week really isn't what you wanted and doesn't look good. And so I think it's a little extra time, you know, up front, just to save more time down the road and feel fabulous as well. And, you know, I don't know about your area, but certainly in the major cities here in Canada, there are loads of really amazing consignment stores. I love consignment stores because it's like a treasure hunt for me. And you can get quality clothing, shoes, accessories for a fraction of the cost. If labels are your gig, you can find those. But just clothes that, you know, are still fashionable and well made and well cared for, and just, it's, you know, it's a second use. So why not? I mean, it's another.
No, I agree. I struggle with consignment stores because I am really an in and out kind of girl. And I grew up in a house where shopping was a sport. Like, that's what we did. And my mom loved the sample sales and the TJ Maxx. Like, she loved the hunt. She loved it. And, you know, I think we always end up like going our parents' way or being the exact opposite. I am the exact opposite. I want to go in, I want to get the things I need and be out. I do. And maybe that comes from shopping with people for years. I just don't want to do it anymore. But I was in Nordstrom yesterday and I looked at like a rack of clothing, and first of all, my eyes go to color. What are the colors that are good for me? And I pulled 3 things. I saw which necklines were good for me. I pulled out of those 3, 2. And I took 2 things in the fitting room. I tried them on, bought them. That was it. And now I have 2 fabulous tops for me. And it took me, I would say, under 10 minutes.
Wow.
And so when you go to a consignment sale, or a store, you need to know what you are looking for. You need to be able to narrow it down by necklines, by color, by fabrics that are good for you. Because otherwise you just get into that trap of, oh, this is cheap. Oh, what a good deal. Good deals are not good deals if you don't wear them. Like, I don't care how little you spent on it. If you don't wear it, that's money wasted. That could go towards something that you truly love.
That's true. Someone said to me once a long time ago, you know, if you buy a jacket for, say, $200, but you wear it 20 times, it's basically $10 a wear. If you buy a jacket for $50 and you never wear it, it's $50, you know. So it's not necessarily the price of the item, it's how well you love it and how much you're going to wear it. Jennifer, there's been so much in this conversation. I'm just delighted with it. And I'd love to invite you to share. You've got a wonderful gift for our audience. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Totally frozen on me.
Oh, there we go. Are we back? So I'm going to try turning off my video. Does that work? No. Oh dear. All right. Well, Jennifer can probably still hear me, I hope. Oh, there you are.
There I am.
Okay. A little bit of technical interruption. That's all right. We're back. So tell us about the lovely gift you have for our women.
I will certainly do that. So I think one of the first places that women check out of life and pull back a little, and it starts a slippery slope. I don't want women to go down, is in their swimwear, right? We're like, I don't want, not taking off the t-shirt, not taking off the cover up. Every woman can look fabulous in a swimsuit. So I have put together the ultimate swimwear guide, and it shows you how to find a swimsuit that is best for your body type, what to look for, what to avoid, stores to shop at. I solve the biggest swimsuit dilemmas, all the questions that we get about swimsuits. I put those in there as well. And so you can download that guide and start shopping and get in the water this summer. And you've got the link for that, right?
Yes, I do. Yes, I
Perfect.
shared that in the email, the promo email for this interview. So thank you. That's amazing and perfectly timed because we are just entering swimsuit
Yes.
season now. So
Yes.
thank you. That's wonderful. Jennifer, it's been just so great talking to you this morning. And thank you so much for all your knowledge and sharing your expertise with everyone. I've just loved every minute of it.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
All right. Take care.